Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. We're picking up on part 2 here. This is an important area because um, very little out there is verifiable and has any kind of appreciable research done about it. So it's very difficult, and some research, of course, is never made public, as the research that was done on Uri Geller at the famous institute there with Puthoff and Targ, SRI, Stanford Research Institute, which is apparently not part of Stanford, but that research was classified by the CIA, paid for it, and nobody ever saw it. So this is what happens, and when it was released 25 years later, nobody cared. So there's very little information out there that the public is aware of to prove these areas. But here again, biophysical or the psychic was proven. Uri Geller was proven, regardless of people's opinion of that, and the dumb bunkers who lie about it, just like the unamazing Randy, the little deviant freak that guy was, who out and out lied. So this is a guy, and he's not getting any younger people. So this is a good time to study under him. There's courses you can go to. There's a lot online. Buy his book, get his DVDs. This is about as proven a system as you can get. Secondly, it couldn't be any easier. Everybody can do this kind of what he calls it cycling, but speed visualization. That is a way of non-concentrating, but sending energy for a particular purpose. Now, we have to understand the fact that this kind of research is fascinating, and I've been following him for many years. There's continuing more success, and he keeps writing papers. There is a problem, though. I don't see that he's selling it any longer, but he used to sell charged waters for healing purposes. Of course, he didn't state that, just general well being. He started out selling these through a group of people that he knew in Holland, Nederlanderville, because apparently he has connections there, and he has given workshops throughout Europe, particularly and of course his book is in German, Dutch, and what was it, Spanish. And I know he's given courses or taught his system in Germany, and I'm assuming he's done it in the Netherlands as well, or maybe the Dutch went to Germany to take his courses. I don't know. The problem is that, is when you have something like this, which is a complicated area, particularly when you move from the energetic to the physical, meaning you're imprinting energy into something physical like water, you need to have an area of expertise that he does not have. He knows nothing about this kind of equipment, how to do it, how to amplify it. He's talked to a lot of people who claim they can do it this way. They can put it in music. He mentioned, I think, in his tapes or in some interview. He decided to do it in a actual water form, which I think is probably the worst way to do it. Water is interesting, but I think it's highly overrated, and I'm not sure it really holds energy for all that long. Now, the research done by the Japanese person, I forget his name, Armado, whatever his name was able to show how water is affected by energy, but for how long, and is it really as potent as it appears? Well, I got the water and tried it myself. I ordered it from the people in Holland. I also ordered it for 5 or 6 other people. They all tried it and nobody got any results, including myself. This really puts a damper on the fact of, does any of his research have any value? Does any of it work? Looking on his website here, I cannot find these waters any longer. Most likely, and I hope they have been discontinued, because they don't work. And it's not just not working for me, they didn't work for at least 5 other people that I got the product for. Absolutely no results whatsoever. Zero, zero, zero. Now that's pretty sad because of the fact that I'm assuming he tested this stuff before sending it out. Now the bottom line is that is all his research this shoddy and bad? Well, I have to wonder now. So I no longer give him a high level of belief. I do find it interesting because if this is true, he has proved bioenergetic power, meaning the power of your intention and your quote psychic energy was able to enter someone else and not just make them feel woozy, but cure them of cancer, which he claims he has validated and has proof of, and has done this in people as well as mice. So these are shocking claims that he claims he has verified, yet he puts out a water that doesn't work one iota. Nobody felt anything, not even the slightest change in anything. Secondly, he's working with people that have no idea what they're doing. The Dutch have no idea what vital force is, how to do it. And when they saw my website, which is unconventional, they decided they didn't want me as a distributor. This kind of nonsense shows the closed-minded stupidity that the people he works with are, and probably himself. But that kind of reaction is the same reaction that he gets everywhere that I'm sure he's not very happy about. And of course, this is him right here. And as I said, you can see him on YouTube. There's many interviews. There's other interviews on his website here. So the whole idea is that this shows to me a very poor organization. I also thought the $30 that he wanted for them were overpriced. He should sell this stuff at dirt cheap, particularly since it was new. And secondly, he needed to get testing back. Yet, he also didn't follow up with anybody asking, did this work? More bad work. This makes him look mercenary and incompetent. This, again, is shocking. He falls into the same group that all the other boobs in the force physics area, the vital force physics area of everyone else. The same thing with the Radionic Association, the Psychotronic Association ran by a high school gym teacher. He's no better and has a bad business structure. Now, him being a researcher and him depending on other people, I certainly can understand that. And as a person who has worked in this field and who is a business person on top of a researcher, a writer, and everything else, I certainly understand the limited amount of time. But, you know, if you're going to put out physical products that are really going to make the final statement on your process, you better do it a lot better. And you better not leave it to people in Holland who have no idea what they're doing. And that's exactly what he did. These people were incompetent, low-level stooges. And that, again, means the fact that he bumps up again or takes on some of the same qualities. Why is he doing that? Well, he's a low-level stooge businessman. Now, whether any of his stuff works, well, I don't know. After 30 years, you think that he has accumulated the proper data. I have not personally seen it. I've not personally went to any of his meetings, and I haven't personally, his system is so simplistic, you really have to wonder how well it would work, period. But since I have no firsthand proof of it, I have to, of course, now wonder dramatically because of his very poor business skills and the idiots he surrounds himself with, whether this is a real system or not. I've never heard anybody write about it. I've put up different videos and nobody has come and said that, of course, it's difficult when when they make sure your videos aren't shown or at least get into the feed properly. But there doesn't seem to be anybody ever commenting that this stuff has ever worked. So again, if it is so potent, it's worked so much, and he's been doing this for 30 years and having all these workshops, why aren't there more talk about this? Well, maybe I'm not looking in the right places. I'm not a Facebook hunter or all the other stuff where there's so many chatty monkeys talking about nonsense they know nothing about. Um, and on top of it, of course, we have to be very careful with people stating things work. There's a lot of shills out there who deliberately are talking up a product because they're making money from it. He was looking for distributors who are going to make money from it. This takes it from a healing product into a profit product. I'm assuming he was making profit as well, but when you offer it to the public, there is a problem because then people are saying the miracle cures they get because of the miracle money that goes in their pocket. So it's always difficult. Secondly, as a person with over 55 years worth of research and studying the human condition, I know very well how delusional people can get. They want to feel special. It worked for me, Dr. Thor. I'm special. I can take in vital force energies. I'm kind of like a movie star. Well, maybe it didn't work for other people, but I'm now 10 feet tall. I'm perfectly healthy, and I have $1 billion in the bank. This is the kind of stuff you run into. The other problem is that people who use alternative products tend to be highly delusional. This is why people that get into certain programs, we have this huge placebo effect. Now, the problem with the placebo effect is that it can be as high as 35% of people trying things. So, 35% of people who get a placebo can claim it works for them. Now, I've had placebo effects myself, but they have never lasted more than a month or two. So you're psyched up, you want it to work. Well, yeah, I do kind of feel better. So every little move you make that is a little better than before and doesn't have pain or discomfort or wherever it is, you give credit to what you took because you're a positive person wanting it to work. The problem with that is it doesn't last. So after anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks, that placebo effect is completely gone. So there is no placebo effect. So I don't know what regular medical science does, but they've went so far as having fake operations, cutting people, actually making incisions, putting them on carts and everything else to go through this elaborate procedure testing, placebo testing, that they claim has cured people of every possible problem. Now, again, I just stated I don't believe this one iota. And anybody that is that suggestible, I find to be hard to believe because that's what we're always trying to do. That's what all alternative metaphysical work is about, of conditioning the mind to make things happen, whether that's healing or generating money or teleporting or anything else you want to get into of the metaphysical or supernatural realities that you want to manifest. So I just don't believe it. I've rarely found any products that actually work at all. I've made some personal products myself that have done some amazing things. These were herbals that I actually made myself, used fresh organic herbs, let them sit for long periods of time to extract things out of it, and got some amazing results. I have not gotten amazing results by things produced by others. So we run into this entire thing that there's very little that works. I probably, in my entire 55 years of research, I've ran into probably 3 or 4 items that are impressive and maybe 30, 40 other items that are interesting, that work a little bit, but I've never got serious results from them. Only from probably 2 or 3 items, and these happen to be herbals, and these happen to be things that I made myself, making sure that I'm using pure, powerful, and high quantities of herbs instead of the tiny bit that you get from commercially produced, which I get very little, if any, results from commercially produced items. So there's lots of gossip. There's lots of so-called radionic machines from the old drown units that I have that have failed, to so many other systems out there that do not work. Plain and simple, they cannot produce consistent results, and the manufacturers refuse to produce any kind of evidence that they ever have, no matter whom I've talked to. And all of these people will actually say differently. And they'll make excuses about the law and other things. But when I've talked to people privately, and they know that I'm not involved with obviously investigative people in terms of governmental, they have refused to prove anything. And these are people that are the lowest possible quality people, particularly in the radionic industry, people who are high school gym teachers, who are people that are government agents, computer people that are sick with all sorts of diseases and they can't cure themselves, yet they say this cures everything, even making criminal claims, as I've stated in my previous video. So what do we make of all this stuff? It's really unfortunate that Bengston, who spent 30 years researching and then finally put out some sort of product, didn't test it properly. Well, that's one giant F up, William. And that means that I no longer have any kind of strong faith in your research, even though I continue to recommend you because it's a cheap and easy to do process. Maybe others can get benefits from it. After all, you've stated in your interviews and on your CDs how you've cured many people of cancer and that they are alive today because of what you did, and the people who didn't go to you are dead. Well, that's pretty strong talk, and since the cost is minimal, and since you can get the books and the CDs at a low price, combined together is under $100, I think you can go to courses. You can call them, and I believe they have groups that will do some healing for you. And I believe, don't hold me to it, but I don't think there's costs involved. So if you have cancer, there are people that will work on you, and they will do this for free, apparently. Again, don't hold me to that. So that's why I've been recommending you, and why I continue to recommend you, because it's interesting, it's easy to do, and we should all try this. Because you can't get any easier to work on personal situations. So you really can't beat that. Now, how effective this is when you go ahead and make such a blunder as this, when you hire boobs out of Holland that are hostile towards anything new and who don't want to embrace people that want to get on your team, well, you are effing up big time. And it means that the faith in you and everyone else out there means, again, be careful. Now, he doesn't charge a lot. He doesn't do anything personally, apparently. And there are some interesting energetic information in his books and CDs. But the bottom line is that there is plain and simple great doubt whether your system really works or not. And there has to be an awful lot of proof. He claims that he has papers stating all his great results on his website. Now, I haven't had time to go through it recently, but certainly he makes this claim on his interviews, on his DVDs, etc., and in his books, whatever it is. So that in itself is pretty gutsy, because that puts your neck on the chopping block. But the fact is, the proof is in the pudding. Your waters didn't work. And I wonder about your research. You work with boobs, you have a poor business mind, you're not putting things together properly, and that will be your undoing. And when people come to you that could help you and give you ways of charging your energies in a professional, high level manner, as I could do with very advanced technology, you made sure you did nothing about it because your representative, your duchies in their wooden shoeies, ignored it and didn't bother to investigate or even ask one question. That really puts you in dangerous land of incompetence and maybe even fraud. Who knows? So do keep that in mind, everybody who is looking into stuff. But certainly for the cost and for the gossip, until we get more information, this is something to check out. Until next time.